We're going to introduce to the stage some near locals. Abby Lagula from Taranaki Regional Council and Willie Harvey, a retired businessman. They are local to Taranaki, born and bred, passionate, as all Taranakians are. They have this mountain of this circular ring plane. So I think they're sort of the centre of the universe, it seems. But you're going to hear from them about this amazing initiative that gets stakeholders together to talk about biosecurity, which is a feat in itself, but not only talk, actually implement action. So really exciting initiative. We're going to share this talk. I think Abby's first. Great.
I'm going to sit down.
Welcome.
Oh, where's the clicker? Kia ora koutou, ko Abby Lagula, toka ingoa. So we're going to introduce Biosecurity Taranaki this morning. So who we are, what we've done, where we're going. So we'll get started. So a little bit about me. I grew up in New Plymouth, and I've spent about 10 years in the biosecurity space now. So after graduating in Palmy, yay Palmy, I actually got a job down in Wellington as a quarantine officer for MAF, which it was known at the time. So we were really lucky in Wellington. We worked across the border space. So we did airport passengers, we did the produce, the cargo, vehicles. I saw all the pathways at the border. I was deployed offshore to inspect vehicles in Asia, so in Singapore and Japan. So we had a lot of ant incursions, and spongy moth at the time was the other one that we were really on the radar for. And after a bit of a stint in the UK, I returned to Wellington, back to MAF, and then decided that I wanted to raise my family back home. So I moved back to Taranaki. So I actually stepped away from biosecurity for about 10 years, just while I got the kids growing. And so I was out of the space for a little bit, and and then I've during COVID times, a really interesting show came up, Fight for the Wild, some of you might have been involved in that, and that really ignited my passion again. So I upskilled, and I ended up getting a job at the Taranaki Regional Council as a possum trapper. And then about a year later, an opportunity came up. They were looking at proactive biosecurity. I think he secretly had looked at my past and thought, oh, she's got a little bit of insight with the pathways management internationally, so we might put her forward for this new role. So I accepted. So now was the opportunity to stand up this local biosecurity group. So that's kind of how I came into it. So I suppose I'm kind of the technical expertise for BT. The idea of Biosecurity Taranaki was born out of Kotato, so the previous government. So we were, from my understanding, the idea was to kind of have these little community groups throughout the country that kind of, fit like a cog and all spun together at the same time. So the flagship group was TMBC, or Tauranga Moana Biosecurity Capital. So they were really our flagship group to look over, and they helped us out a lot at the beginning. The next question, though, was how are we going to approach our community? So we had a few ideas thrown at us, and we decided that the best way forward for our community was to take the little bite-sized chunks. Instead of having a huge meeting all together and getting all these people on board, we would actually hold smaller events, customised events. So what we did is just around November of 2022, we had a foot and mouth presentation and a whole heap of others that related to the transport people that were in the room. So we tried to make it personal to them so that buy-in was a bit more stronger. So that's what we did. So we had three of those events, and there's quite a few speakers in the room today that we had along for those. That was really good. And so we needed to find our champions. We needed to find out whether or not we had the interest and the motivation to do anything in the community. So out of those three events, we found a core 10 people step forward, and Willie behind me was one of those people. And so that core group really moved us on to that next phase. He actually just admitted to me about 2 weeks ago, he actually attended 2 of the free breakfasts, not just the one, which is what I thought. So I will let Willie now introduce himself, and Willie is our chairperson.
Thank you. Kia ora, team. Willie tuku ingoa. My name's Willie Harvey, and I've got the delighted pleasure of chairing Biosecurity Taranaki, BT. Here we go, top or bottom? Arrow.
Yeah, we're good.
Look at that. As you can see, that's a little bit about me. You'll see that I have a very strong lead in management, but I have no idea of biosecurity, nothing at all. In fact, I'm not even allowed in my wife's garden. I can pick up the leaves, but nothing else. That's not quite true, because I was managing a transport company just prior to this, and before I retired, and we were shifting between 700 and 800 tonne a day, and there was only one thing in MPI that we had to do all the documentation paperwork. Only one thing. This is every day. This didn't come in every day, but whenever it came in. I put it to you to guess what that was. Anybody? Just yell it out. Honey. You bugger. You got it. First thing was honey. That was the only thing out of 800 tonne a day that we had a MPI criteria. The MPI criteria to that was you had to clean your truck, you had to pick up the product, you had to red sticker it, and then you had to take photos to every depot that went to. We used to pick up stuff from the West Coast, so I go West Coast, Christchurch, Wellington, Palmerston, New Plymouth. Everybody had to do that. That's the only thing we had. So that's not quite right. I think I'm allowed 0.1%. But in the transport sector, it's not that we didn't know or we didn't care. It was probably just it wasn't up there where it should be. And I'm probably talking to the wrong crowd when you talk about things like that, all right? That had to change. That really needed to change. So I adopted within the business that I was in, I picked probably 20 things that needed to change. You weren't allowed to put the honey on the floor. You know, you always had to stay on the deck of the truck. If it didn't stay on the deck of the truck, you had to put it on 4 pallets, so it never touched the floor. And we did that with a lot of the Fonterra products. See, they were just as important. So that's the changes we sort of made. We had to look at what they were doing. So everything else is, yeah, that's just me. I'm born in Waitara, moved to Stratford, lived in New Plymouth, joined the army, joined a company for 25 years, which was McKetney Metals, and then I had to start using my brain. I thought, gee, I had one, because I was only at secondary school for a year and a half. School didn't like me, though. You know, it was their fault, not mine. So then I had to start using my brain, so I became a metallurgist. I managed 3 foundries, brass, copper and aluminium melting foundries, to the budget of 400 million a year. So that's when I started to get into the management structure. We sold the brass and copper, so I was down to 11 people and 120 million a year. It wasn't big enough, so I got snapped up by Olex Cables, Nixans, a cable company in New Plymouth, and became the National Logistics Manager for New Zealand and Australia. And after that, I thought, oh, well, that's enough. I've done enough work, made enough money. I retired. And that only lasted about 4.5 months because I needed something else. The brain wouldn't stop. A friend of mine said that they were shutting a business down in New Plymouth. How'd you like to look at that? I gave them 3 things plus a salary. Guess what? They said yes. So I went back to work for a little bit, but now I've been retired for a couple of years. Don't tell anybody you retire, okay? Just keep it to yourself because then you get something to do. So that's a little bit about me, but what I'd like to do is just to thank some people. We were the second one off the rank after Tauranga Moana. I want to thank them for what they did, and if there's anybody in the room, thank you very much. Special thanks to Shelley and Biosecurity New Zealand. They do a lot of work for us. They keep us on track, you know. I love to get outside the circle and do stuff, but she pulls us back in. Abby's our brains of the whole thing. She works so hard. And us 3 were making the decisions, and I didn't feel right about it. It just wasn't right. So we adopted a senior management team and invited another couple of people in. It's much better because you get a different view. That's important. Iwi, you know, work with iwi. We worked with iwi with every opportunity we get. Thank you very much in that respect across Taranaki and the Regional Council. And our 46 support partners that work with us as well, and we'll show you a bit about that later on. Our purpose, as you can read this, guys, you've seen things like this before, but our purpose, our vision and our PO, There's nothing really different about that, but it's focusing on Taranaki. Taranaki is the jewel of Aotearoa. I'm going to lose some people here, but it really is. We have a beautiful mountain. We have sea. We have rivers. You know, we're blimmin' lucky. I've been all around the world, and I love coming home. That home is home, isn't it? You know, when you go away and you come back, home is home, and it's special, and that's what makes it for us. So that's our purpose, that's our statement in that, thrive, keep Taranaki thriving. As you can see, we worked this out, we got 1 minute and 14 seconds per slide, so I'm going to speed some up. Okay, so we launched in March 2024. That was our launching, and that was a big deal to us. What's it going to be like? How many people were going to get there? And we were blown out of the water. It was really good. We had some great support. And as you can see, the other things just across the board, which makes this package work really well for us. That was our launching, and guess who was the favourite? The little fella in the corner. He was amazing, eh? He was brilliant. But we picked up champions, they signed up to us, and that's exactly what we were looking at. And that was the team photo at the end. And no, that's not me on the right, I'm at the back. Abby.
So just really briefly, what we've accomplished so far. So going to events is really important. It really helps you grow the network and make those connections. I learn so much when I'm in the community. Our volunteers in Taranaki are real doers. They don't really like coming to meetings that often, but they're really keen to help out when there's opportunities to man stands, like through the garden festival. So we try and piggyback off events that are already happening instead of kind of creating new events. So we try and tap into those that are already existing in the community. So we've set up a newsletter and a Facebook, and thanks to BioNet for allowing us to land on their page for now. So we just, the website's something hopefully in the future that we'll have capacity to put together. So newsletters quarterly. And then a couple of events that we've been to. The one on the right-hand side is Ngāti Mutanga. So we were invited along to their first service expo in Yuranui. It's an estuarine town, and we focused on the marine biosecurity. So Taranaki Regional Council don't do any marine biosecurity. They do the Check, Clean, Dry program. So we kind of try and fill these gaps in our community. There's a lot of gaps to fill, but we're taking it a bit at a time. So, and on the left-hand side, we created a little scavenger hunt for the kids at a seaside market on Namudu Beach. And they took about 20 minutes to complete it, and the stall holders really loved it. So we hid these laminated creatures through the stalls, and it was up to them to kind of locate them and come back. We had this one little boy that couldn't find one of them. He had so much fun doing it. So, and then they went into a draw to win a prize. So just little ideas like that. And the garden festival is the bottom left-hand side. Sea Week, we had Yannicka and Josh from MPI come up and do a bit of a workshop on that. The marine network is quite non-existent in Taranaki, so we're just trying to build those networks together so that next year we can make it bigger and better. And obviously partners events, bottom right as well. So our learnings so far. Our focal point was the port, but yours might be different if this is something you're looking at doing in your own community. Find your champions, it's really important, those passionate people that will go that extra mile. They're just like Willie here. So, you need to find those champions, which is what other speakers have said before. Be authentic. So someone mentioned being honest. We have approached several groups that will see right through a sales pitch. So make sure you do find those really honest people that are really there for the right reasons. And you can read most of the rest of them. So, not one size doesn't fit all. What works for us may not work for anyone else. And I will pass it back to Willie now for challenges.
Hey, we're doing well. We haven't sort of gone backwards and forwards yet. Yes, I have. Look, I just did it. How do we go back?
Soon.
No. Oh, this one. That's it. Challenges, always challenges, guys, in anything that we do. Keeping momentum going is a key factor. What's next? I think if you put a few things on the plate, you can work on them all. That's how I think, and that's what we've done. We've got about 3 or 4 things going at the same time. Some are strong, some aren't as strong, and that's what gets us over the hump. Resources and funding, look, everybody in this room knows exactly about that. I'm not telling you anything you don't need to know. In fact, you could tell me something quite a bit. Can get overwhelmed pretty fast at times. There's always things, like I say, to be done. Sharing even the files in the IT is a problem because you're not standalone. You're having to use others. And as you can see, the other things through there are just the challenges that everybody would have. We, being new, not having anything to go by, creating our own environment and atmosphere, I think we were quite lucky because we could do. I was allowed to do what I do, and this helps us, which is great. Thank you.
So just before our NETS, I sent out a questionnaire to some of the champions just to kind of get a bit of a feel about how they felt about our existence. So again, we've only been going 16 months, so these are just some of the comments that they put forward. So we have, close to 60 supporters now, and another 16 transport coming on board. So there is a huge buy-in and momentum. It's really, really cool. And just the value that people are seeing. That's what they do. So, changes they've made to implement better biosecurity practices. So there's just a couple of examples of what people have said that they're doing now. So I did find that the regional biosecurity awareness is very lacking. For us to build our capability, we first need to create that awareness because 99% of people out in our community don't know, what they don't know. Thanks, Craig. So what's next? We're just going to continue growing the network. You can read all that. It's just the momentum piece. We did change our meetings to reflect a bit more, interest to get more people along because we do want to keep, we want that buy-in as well and those opinions. Identifying gaps in the community as well is another big one. There are supporting partners, so thank you to those that are in this room as well. And I think I've got 1 minute if anyone's got any questions.
I'm just going to take over for a little bit.
Oh, okay, maybe I won't.
One of the things I finally did at the end of my working life was fix or flick, which was businesses. I had to go in and if the business was viable, we would look at seriously making it happen. If it wasn't, it was the other side of the story. But there's three things I looked at. One was the financial, always have a look. You have a look at the system, secondly, but the third one was the culture. And this is one circle that I've stepped into that the culture is amazing. It's fantastic. You guys have got something special. What you do is great for New Zealand. We've got a great country. It's a beautiful place and we have to look after it. If we don't, we're going to lose things. We don't have the money, we don't have the resources to fix it when we lose it. So we have to do the work now. We have to do the mahi now for our children, our grandchildren further on down. And if we don't, they're going to blame us. Let's not let them blame us. Please, please keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And I'm new to this, so I can see it. And I guess that's the good thing about not having all your experience, coming in and having a look at what's out there. So please keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic. And it is appreciated. Thank you. Also, celebrate your wins. That's one little thing we can all do. Once a month or once a fortnight, celebrate your wins. You spend too much time on the other side. You're going to go to work on Monday and you're going to have 140 emails and you're going to start off with a bad week. Hey, celebrate your wins because they're there. You just got to find them. Thank you.